Well, one, if you really want to get moving early, Friday night, Georgia Tech at Colorado. And I know everybody still wants to talk about Colorado, and I know everybody's going to think altitude, home field advantage. Give me all of the Georgia Tech neg 4.5 that you can
Yeah.
find. Georgia Tech is the more physical team. And this is not a shot at Dion. Like earlier, it's not that I'm in on in on Texas, I'm out on Ohio State. This is not that I'm out on Colorado, it's that I'm in on Georgia Tech. It's the more physical team and the better coach team. Brett Key does a fantastic job of making sure his team is built from the trenches out. And that is the typical Colorado weakness. We're all talking about how Shedeur Sanders is taking these sacks in the preseason. He has always turned pressures into sacks. The sacks are his fault. The pressures, look at the Cleveland Browns offensive line. Look at the Colorado offensive line in the last 2 years. Dion has never decided to build that offensive line through recruiting, only through the transfer portal, and that is a failing strategy. There's not enough offensive line talent in the world to build through the portal. So Georgia Tech should just be able to dominate this game physically. You want to throw one in your parlay on Friday night, give me a Georgia Tech like 4.5.
Oh, man, I freaking love that pick. Love that. Now, let's do some real sicko stuff here because there's someone you like between Kent State and Merrimack.
Kent State is a historically bad football team. They are so bad that analytically they may be a touchdown better than last year, and they will still be multiple points the worst team in FBS football. Merrimack is a 6.5-point underdog at Kent State. Merrimack should win this game outright. Merrimack returns its quarterback, a couple of starting offensive linemen, and that alone is enough to make me believe you can beat Kent State. Kent State could not run the ball last year. It was one of the worst teams in push rate. How far can the running back get before he's hit? And then they lost their leading running back, and they lost most of their offensive line. So an already terrible unit gone. And it's not like these guys were picked off. Like you look at Purdue, 18 of the 22 starters moved up in the world. Kent State lost starters to FCS teams. That's how badly everybody of any caliber wants out of Kent State. This is a historically bad football team. And that presents value in betting the FCS team because most of the world is just not going to do that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't know Merrimack had a football team. I've bet on them in basketball before. I did not know that they had a football squad. All right,
They
let's go back
are
to like a bigger
FCS,
game.
but they're decent. Oh, fine. A bigger game
But
than
still,
Kent
it is
State.
a team. I know it's hard to find one, but I think I've found one. So LSU Clemson. Do you have a side here?
I very much like Clemson neg 4. I am deferring. In my head, home field advantage plus the more veteran quarterback. That should put this at 4.5 right there, period. Cade Klubnik developed a touch on his deep balls last year. I think it was 46.6%, 1,200 yards, and 16 touchdowns on passes that traveled at least 20 yards in the air, compared to the year before where that was 35%, 300-some yards, and 3 touchdowns. He found that deep ball last season, opened up Clemson's offense, returns his top 3 receivers. So Klubnik and offensive coordinator Garrett Riley, which the casual fan may remember was the OC mind behind that TCU run back in 2022. That combination is not getting enough due, and that combination should outpace LSU, especially against LSU defensive coordinator Blake Baker, who is such an aggressive mind. He's going to put his defensive backs out on an island in a game that he should not do that.
We're talking with Douglas Farmer, who is all over college football for covers.com. When you handicap, I'm curious, I mean, you clearly know a lot. What does your process look like? How much time would you say you spend on each individual game?
Each individual game in a week like this is a lost cause. Week 1, the lines have been bruised and battered all summer. I know I'm not going to find a line that is off by a ton. This LSU Clemson game, it's at 4. If you look around in the world, you might find a 3.5. And here I'm saying I think it should be 4.5. Now, that's a key number, but it's not massive. It's not a massive difference. Whereas later on in the season, there will be plenty of games where I'm like, oh, they're off by 3 points. So this week, it's more what matchups do I know that I'm highlighting that maybe you're not getting enough due. Let's keep using that example. Cade Klubnik is not getting enough due. His deep ball last season really jumped off the page, and that should be – I mean, he's 9-1 to win the Heisman last I saw. He should be further down those odds because that deep ball is going to get highlights, and college football just struggles. If you have a truly elite quarterback who can hit those 20-yard passes, college football generally struggles to defend those. So right now I'm looking around the country, and I'll grab this one. These are the games I highlighted to start this week of, these are the numbers that I still really believe in. Buffalo plus 18.5 at Minnesota. That's now down to 17.5 last I saw. I'll still be on Buffalo tonight. I'll be in the stands in a Minnesota Gophers hoodie, quietly hoping Buffalo keeps it within 2 touchdowns.
It's the way to do it. You can rep a team, but you can bet on a different one. That's what I'll be doing probably with my NC State Wolfpack. I will not be betting on them, but I will be proudly wearing my gear. Okay, it looks like you have a play in Southern Miss and Mississippi State. I guess you could say that's a semi-big game, but you must feel strongly about it if you have a play on it.
I don't know that we can call it a semi-big game, except for the fact that it's the defending Sun Belt champion Marshall. Yes, I said Marshall, now in Southern Miss uniforms. Charles Huff left Marshall in a rather contentious divorce, if you will, and then just brought most of his roster. Sun Belt Offensive Player of the Year, quarterback, brought most of Marshall's starting defense over to Southern Miss. One of the poorest programs in the country now has this influx of talent. We're not properly appreciating that. The transfer portal is always viewed as this money-making machine, but what it really is the immediate eligibility upon transfer. That's what changed so many of these things. And our traditional power ratings struggle to understand the continuity that this kind of move makes. Charles Huff, new coach, whole lot of new players. No, they're just in a different city. Going against Mississippi State, who got some better talent this year, but it's still a floundering SEC program that I don't have a lot of faith in, and is on the road as a 13.5-point road favorite. Give me the home underdog live.
You know how it goes, Douglas. Eventually, Vegas catches up, even if they're off early on with their lines. But is there a team where, you were talking about teams or players not getting their due? Is there a team right now that you think, until lines potentially catch up with this particular squad, this is a team that could get a lot of my money?
The way you started to ask that, I was ahead of the question in my head, thinking, I don't know. And I'm going to look up a bigger game that we haven't discussed, and there we go. Alabama is currently a 13.5-point favorite at Florida State. Kalen DeBoer in year 2 has always improved his record by at least 3 wins. That was at a lower FCS school that some people would be surprised they have a football team, Sioux Falls. That was in the Mountain West. I'm currently blanking. Maybe he was at Fresno, and that was at Washington. He took Washington in his second year to the national championship, the college football playoff. This is a hallmark of Kalen DeBoer. His team so improved in year 2. When he got hired at Alabama, I was looking around for a Alabama 2025 SEC ticket. Last year they won 9 games, improved that by 3. Boy, math is pretty easy there. I think Alabama is going to win 12 games before the playoff, which is me saying probably a 12-1 SEC title. I'm getting them at under 2 touchdowns against Florida State. I'm going to get them at a too small number against Wisconsin. I'm going to be on some Alabama for at least September.